Well, welcome to the Dayton Buckeye Model A Ford Club, our annual event, 28th annual swap meet here in Dayton, Ohio at Peffley Ford. And I'm Ken Smith, president of the Dayton Buckeye Model A Ford Club. And I've been asked here to show you a little bit about the new car that I've just purchased. This is a 1931 Model A Ford Town Sedan. And this is the same body style as what Henry Ford and Edsel Ford drove off of the assembly line in April of 1931. You might look in the interior of this, lots of room in there, and you might notice the special pleating and the nice carpet and the roominess of this car. This differs a lot from what you might expect to see in most Model A's that were made back in those days. Model A was made from 1928 to 1931. You look in here, this is all original interior, and this car was recently appraised for $30,000. This engine is a 40 horse power engine, and it will propel the car down the road 45-50 miles an hour very easily.
I'm Bill Schultz from Wapakoneta. It was a 1929 Ford two-door that they changed the wheelbase so that it does wheelies if you got somebody in the back seat. I just got it put back together this spring.
The exhaust whistle is
Right here.
and then the intake whistle is
It's here. This works on vacuum, and this works on exhaust pressure.
The last time that I saw this car, it was up on blocks, and it didn't look as good as it does today. It's not quite finished yet, but Scott was good enough to let us have it today. The wind wings aren't on it yet, and the top is not on it, but it's a very nice fit, 1932.
My name's Bob Rickert from Brookville, Ohio. I started on this. This is a 1931 Model A station wagon. When I started, there was nothing but a chassis and an engine. And I had a friend that had a 29 model, and I went over and took measurements and pictures, and then came home and made my own drawings and so forth. And so it's everything I've done has been just from scratch. The 31 is a little different than the 29. The 31 has the sloping front here, where the 29 comes straight up, straight roof with a visor. So that kind of complicates it a little bit more here as far as the doors and everything. But from that point on, it's original both in type of materials and in the measurements and everything, same as Henry done it. It's the superstructure is maple, the panels are birch, the roof slat, the oak bows in there, and the roof slats are basswood. And that, again, is pretty much as Henry did it. See, originally Henry made these to go to the railroad station, pick up passengers, and then they'd put the luggage on the tailgate. So that's where the name station wagon came from. So you see the imitation wood panels on station wagons today. This is the grandfather of them.
Okay, my name is Frank Ackerman. I'm from Dayton, Ohio. This is a 1934 Ford pickup truck, V8, the original 85 horsepower engine. I bought the car about 12 years ago. It was completely apart. The gentleman had bought it, decided to restore it, lost interest, and it took 3 trips to bring it home. It was in various pieces. I've done everything myself except the paint on the fenders. I like to tell people it's an amateur restoration and I'm the amateur. It's not a show vehicle, but it's fun to drive, and we've had a great deal of fun driving it, and it attracts a lot of comment usually every place I take it. There's some things that are not original. We put turn signals on it for safety's sake. It does have seat belts in it. The other thing that was changed on the vehicle is we put the wood in the bed instead of the metal plate, which ended up was cheaper than buying the piece of reproduction metal, and I thought it was a little prettier than the metal.
Sandy Bright from New Paris, Ohio. It's a 1929 Model A Deluxe Delivery, and we've had it about 15 years. Just redid it 3 years ago, and paint and chrome and engine and everything. These are for, like I said, delivery for florists, grocers, bakeries, those kind of things. And if you notice along the middle of the inside, there's a little lip, and that's where a wooden tray set that they could add more deliveries to, you know, and have more room. Got this original wood floor in it. Got a bearskin rug on it right now, but got the original floor. They were very handy, very useful. There weren't too many of them made, and to my knowledge, talking to a guy in Georgia, there's about 53 left in the whole country, and more than half of those have been street righted, so there's probably less than 25 originals.
I'm Stephen Loy from Dayton, Ohio. I'm the body man and painter for this car here of Don Regal's. It's a 1930 two-door. He's had it for 30-some years. This rear body panel came out of this car here. This car was hitting the rear end hard when we restored it, and we found a panel in Kentucky and put it in the car. And like I say, this shows the past condition, but this piece unbolts through here on both sides and screws at the bottom. And this piece was replaced new, and this is an original piece. And this is chicle drab and cobra drab colors, matched perfect to the original colors. Like I say, I'm Stephen Loy. I painted this car over 10 years ago. This car belonged to Rich Rigsby, and it belonged to his great-grandfather, so it's been in the family all its life. It was found in rough condition, patch panels and so forth put into it, and brought back to its present condition.
Hi, my name is Ted Cookta, and I'm from Centerville. And the car behind me is a 29 Model A town sedan. And I've owned the car about 18 months, and I bought it from a fellow club member, and it was in very good cosmetic shape when I bought it. It needed some mechanical work, and I put a rebuilt engine in it, new clutch, and a few other things under the hood, and some upholstery work where some of the wood in the driver's seat was rotted, and I replaced that. And then as long as I was in there, I put in seat belts for both the front and the back, and installed new seat springs in both the front and the back seats as well.
Guess what game? Cincinnati. I know. I'm gonna put my radio on.
Joe Ayers, yeah. And the truck it's a 29. It was actually made in San Francisco in January of 30, according to the engine number. And I bought it in San Jose, California in 1969 for $125. And when I first thought it was painted with White House paint with a brush and had one red fender and one black fender, and it took me 2 or 3 weeks to decide that I was actually going to do it. And then I spent 9 months and about $700 making it roadworthy, and ended up driving it across the country, which took 5 months because I didn't have enough money to make it when I left, but it was basically 21 days of driving at 38 miles an hour.
You had to do much to keep it up, or?
Not since I originally did it. I bought paint. I didn't have a compressor. I bought a $17 Sears spray gun and used an old refrigerator motor and a butane tank to paint it. and sandblasted or rented a sandblaster that was probably big enough to do the Golden Gate Bridge. It blew the doors clear across the yard, and ended up cleaning the small pieces over a wash tub of kerosene for 3 months. And since then I put tires on it, and I wore the motor out and rebuilt the motor. I also had a main bearing go out in Las Vegas, New Mexico, and got bearings poured again in Albuquerque on the way across. But since then I rebuilt the motor about 3 years ago, I think it was. It's got 20,000 miles on it that I've put on it at 38 miles an hour. Flat out.